What's up, world? This is We Need a Fifth. This your man Mo. Got my man P in the building right next to
What
me.
up? What up?
Got my man Hill on the line, right down the line.
Took a week off, loving the specs though.
Um, Fellas, NBA Summer League got into full effect. It started July 7th, I believe. The Vegas Summer League. Two major, the first two picks in the NBA draft this season were able to compete head to head last night. Uh, Brandon Miller and Victor Wembanyama. My first question, and I feel this is a Doug question. Did you guys get a chance to catch the game?
Yeah. I caught some of it. It was obviously an underwhelming performance from Wemby, but it was an exciting game. It was exciting to see his first play with the Spurs. But I think they play again tonight, so I'll be there for that.
Hill, did you get a chance to see it?
Yeah, I mean, what else would there be? I mean, he's must-watch TV as much as the doubters and the naysayers want to see him fail. They're locked in. It's not like they were rushing to go see B. Miller unless you're a diehard, basketball fanatic as we are. We want to see basketball, but he's must-watch TV. And to me, he didn't disappoint by no means. I saw some things which might be out of his control, which is how they're going to allow him, to be, how to allow him to be beat up or officiated, how they're going to officiate games.
Yeah.
The only standard that I saw with him, because he loses the ball in traffic when he's getting pinballed, but he's getting pinballed. So, I mean, these are, to me, I saw they were legitimate fouls, but it was summer league, so I'm like, they're letting the kids play on so they could see. So I think he needs to adjust to how they're playing, or how they're officiating, I should say, and maybe just take it light and work on some other things. And hopefully this ain't a thing to come for the future, how he's going to be officiated. I mean, if not, he's definitely going to have to put on some pounds, which might affect his game.
And it's funny that you mentioned that, because when I was watching the game and writing my notes, one of the things I said was that I felt that there were two things. His handle is a little bit better than I thought it was, honestly.
Little.
A lot better. Yeah. And I thought his handle was good.
Yeah.
I think his handle is extraordinary.
Yeah.
And I felt that they were missing a lot of reach-in fouls, especially when he was handling and driving to the paint. There were a lot of reach-in fouls on those crossovers that he was doing that they weren't calling. Now, I think in the regular season, he'll get more of that. And one of the things that I guess, and I'm going to wait and see how it plays out, but one of the things that I wanted to see him do more of is initiating his offense and being aggressive about initiating his offense. Because I feel once he starts initiating his offense and he gets into his bag with his handle and his length, it's either they're going to foul him or he's going to get a shot. And he has to start forcing that action, like force the refs to call the foul. And I think it was proven out even with this game. Hey, first 5 points. First one was the short jumper in the paint where he got an and one, and then the next one is coming off of foul shots when you took it to the paint and got fouled. And he got to the line for two free throws. So it's like I think he has to be more aggressive with that. And one of the things I'm going to give it more time, but I'm concerned on how they're going to use him. It looked like last night they were trying some stuff that Philadelphia does with Joel Embiid, as far as, hey, point guard comes down, it looks for him at the short corner, or the 3-point line, and allows him to, look for him at the right below the 3-point line in the post-up position and allow him to turn and face and then go to work. I almost feel like you have to treat him like Kevin Durant. And however you think you would get Kevin Durant open and available to get into his offense, I almost feel that you have to take that type of thought process with Wemby, especially with the level of his handles. And his court vision really surprised me. That's better than advertised. The defense is exactly what I thought it would be. 5 blocks. He showed up. And to your point, Hill, I believe he does need to be stronger. He has to be stronger. It was too easy to get him off his feet at times.
Yeah, Pete, what did you see from him?
Nah, I agree with everything this guy said. Basically, I think he has to be more assertive.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to realize this guy's coming from overseas. He's trying to blend in with his teammates. But I think ultimately he's going to have to be more assertive. I think that's on his part, but on the team part, I think they just have to post him more. Because I do feel it's giving me this Joel, like Mo said, like this Joel Embiid Philly, like go down low. That he's 7'3", 7'4", whatever his height is. He's taller than everybody. This is God-given. So use it. You know what I mean? Like it's like Joel Embiid all over again. But I feel they'll do that eventually.
But Pete, my thing is, I don't necessarily need him to go down low. With his handle the way he showed out, I need them to put him in space to get into his bag with his handle.
But this isn't like if his handle's like that, he could get to his space. Like I don't think his handle's like that yet. You know what I mean? Like if you got a handle, you could get to your spot. That's the whole point.
My thing is, I think what he's not used to is the physicality before he gets the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that might not change. Like you said, he might just have to get stronger. Not necessarily bulk up, but just like stronger while he has the ball. Because again, like Joel Embiid, when you're 7'3", 7'4", he was on the floor way too much for me. To be the tallest guy on the court, and I keep seeing him getting up from the floor, that's not a good look.
And the difference from what I see is, from what I saw, and my takeaway is, he's just a distinct disadvantage to whoever's going to stop him. I mean, from a point guard, from the top of the key, to a center down low, to a power forward. He's just like you said, Pete. You cannot mistake height. He's just taller than everyone. So I would like him pretty much between that range of that mid-low block and be able to look over and make decisions and just work. You know what I'm saying? Like his handle could get him space around any center, and he could shoot over any power forward. He could shoot over any guard. One thing I'm not concerned so much, like you said, if he gets Garnett weight, that's fine. I just don't want him to bulk up as you're saying, but what I did enjoy was he's better than I thought he was, because I didn't see him as much. You know what I mean? And these players that he's playing with probably not going to be the players, as bad as San Antonio is, aren't going to be the players he's going to be ending up with. And his competition that you saw him get tonight is going to be vastly better than what you see him playing against now. So I don't think Pop is going to unlock the box of what we saw this summer league. I think he's just going to allow him to have fun and not get hurt. But I think Wemby is way better than what I'm not going to say with the masses, what I thought he was. I think we have something special here. I really do. And he was getting fouled. And I'm not proponent like he was getting knocked off his space, knocked off his block, but they were fouls. So it's a level of physicality which I don't think you can overlook because he's so tall. Unless you're gonna treat him like Shaq, then he has to adjust. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna call fouls every second of the game? Because he's so obvious when he's thin because he's getting pushed around. With Shaq pushed around and he was just lifting up his legs, so you didn't have to call it.
And I think that's part of the reason why I say I need him to be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end as far as initiating his offense and getting into his offense, because I think he has to get into some quote unquote James Harden stuff, where hey, you're forcing the refs to call the call, and you being aggressive, and you're getting, because as soon as he crosses over, the center that was playing him last night could not stop him without reaching in, could not stay with him without reaching in, and even when he reached in and fouled him, he was getting left behind, and so it's like, hey, you have to get more into that.
I don't think this is anything what you're going to see towards not even a finished product, just the beginning.
Yeah, definitely.
I think so. What people are seeing now, and it's just going to be strictly raw in summer league and just assumptions until Pop gets a hold of him. Pop read up for 5 years, $80 million. So he's here. He's going to be Wemby's.
Yeah, I feel it's a little bit of gamesmanship where they're probably not even running plays.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, they weren't.
You would think they would because it's summer league, but I just feel there's some gamesmanship where they're going to probably have a whole different playbook once the season starts, or closer to the when the season starts. Because I can't just, I just think they should post him more. I truly do. Like that's his God-given advantage.
Yeah, I think that's where you optimize him. Mm-hmm. If I'm wrong, I deserve this. But optimize him, you can have him there. I feel like you can have this kid anywhere. And it was like when he was missing threes, they weren't Joker behind the head threes. They weren't Embiid push threes. He looks like a guard that developed into a 7-6 player with his ball handling, his crossover, his turnaround and shake and bake. No one can block his shot. Yeah. So I said, if you put him on a block, he's an absolute terror down there. He can go any way he wants to go.
Yeah, to your point, he's just fluid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as crazy as it's at 7'3", it looks normal.
Right.
Yeah, and his handle is so sick. And that's why I say, I don't even need him in the post. If he gets into his handle and they got a center sticking him, he's going to get fouled. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're not doing summer league refereeing and he gets into his bag like that, there's very few players at his position that I think can stop him off the dribble.
Yeah, this skill wise reminds me of AD in a way where he's not a tall guy that just said I'm tall, so I'm gonna play basketball. You just get this feeling he's a basketball player that just happens to be really tall. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if he was 6'6", he'd probably be a pretty good player.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
he's just good at like that's what I'm saying. Like if he was 6'1", he'd be a heady good point guard. He'd be good. 6'6", he'd be a lottery player. 7'3", 7'6", he'd be who we'd be talking about right now with Wemby. I look at Wemby and I say, I don't have a problem scratching 30 and 15. And to me, because he goes one step, it's a layup, it's a dunk, bounce. I need to know how they're gonna officiate him, but I was joyed at what I see. I don't care about, Duncan, Robinson, Ewan, everyone gets dunked on. I didn't care about none of that. I like the fact that he's going to try to contest everything, and for every dunk, he's going to give you 5 or 6 blocks. He was an absolute terror on the other end, which people don't talk about. Yeah. They were throwing up weird shots and staying behind a three-point line. So you better have shooters all around if you're playing against this guy because you're not getting a rebound.
And he even blocked the three-pointer, Brandon Miller's three-pointer.
He got out on Brandon Miller and blocked it. So
his length.
The defense, okay, for the detractors, his offense, that's fair. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to say about him, that's fair. But defensively, he's there. He's on schedule defensively.
And a gazelle, and a vision, and the ball handling. Like you said, the ball handling and a vision. It wasn't like a struggle. Like you said, it was so fluid. Like he is a ball handler and he's a kid. So it's like
it looked real lackadaisical. It felt like he really didn't get serious until like the second or third quarter. Like, after he got put on the ground a couple of times. All right, we balling.
No, but that being said, he had a bad game. I don't want to make it seem like because he just played bad. I just think we probably agree like it was just a bad game, but we saw flashes where it could be fixed. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he's gonna have too many of them.
Yeah, no. With me,
I wouldn't even classify it as a bad game, Pete.
Oh, I would.
On the real, in a sense,
I'm all in on Wemby. I think that was a bad game.
But see with P, I agree. I call a spade a spade. Absolutely, he missed shots. He had a bad. I can live with that. Larry Hughes was Summer League MVP. So I don't mind any bad games.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys who have good games. And what's the other guy from the Lakers? He won it too.
Oh, my man, Von Wafer.
Von Wafer, he won it as well.
Him and Marco Bellinetti was the Magic and Bird of Summer League that year. I remember that.
So, but we can't take away he actually did have a good, bad game. But what I took away from it was that kid just don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. So I'm impressed and happy for what I see. I don't get to detract this. I don't.
One of the concerns that I have when I was watching him is, and I know this is going to sound wrong, and basketball diehards will probably kill me for this, but it seems like he has a little Tim Duncan / LeBron James in him, in the sense that he wants to be a team player, and he passes the ball to someone that probably couldn't do half of what he could do if he just shot the ball. There sometimes I think that, and that's what I mean by being aggressive on his offense and initiating the offense. There are certain times where I was like, why does he have the ball? Why aren't you giving him the ball? He's right next to you. Give him the ball and everybody step out the way or cut and get into the passing lanes. But other than that, it's like, but he's willing to trust the process, make the right basketball play. I wish for his talent and the talent I'm seeing, I wish he had a little bit more Kobe, AI, Carmelo in him than LeBron, Tim Duncan.
I think he's very aware of who he is, and I think he doesn't want to rub, even if these are not going to be his teammates, some of them probably will, some of them won't, but I think he doesn't want to rub them the wrong way. Like, he's not going to come out and shoot 30 shots. He's just not, because I think he's very cognizant of who he is, what position he is in, and what's expected of him. So I think he's trying to ingratiate himself. And I mean, I love all the players you named, but LeBron and Timmy got more rings than him. So I'm okay with this way of play.
LeBron and Timmy don't have more rings than Kobe.
But Tim has the same amount. It's only, but then we go to Iverson and Melo. That didn't,
Here's what I can say. You know what that is? I think I agree with both of you. Y'all both are right. It's projection. It's projection. You looked at that game and said, I know you guys are trying to make the team, and San Antonio is bad, but this is not what I want to see. I want to see Wemby with the ball every offensive possession, and I felt cheated. And I haven't felt like that in a while. Like, when LeBron plays, I feel like LeBron is the team, but I don't have to watch LeBron do what he has to do because it doesn't impress me as much. You know how I felt that way? I felt that Shaq should have the ball every time until he had Kobe. I felt Kobe should have the ball in his hands because he was Kobe. I felt Jordan should have the ball in his hands because he was Jordan, because I was excited by those type of players. Allen Iverson, you know what I'm saying? Kenny Anderson. They should have the ball, Randolph Childress, every time because they're the type of players. I feel that with Wemby. I watched the game and I said, he's off the floor, I'm turning the channel. And I'm a basketball enthusiast, like, to no degree. But I didn't want to see the others. I wanted to see Wemby. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Wemby take every shot, do every dribble, do every move, I don't care if he goes 20 for 60, but that can't be. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's cut from that ilk of, I need to get my teammates involved. I'm a good player. He was like that when he was overseas. But that aggressiveness that we want is selfish aggression. Like, he'll average 40 and 20, which I love, but it just can't be. I want that, Mo. I want that. But you know what I'm saying?
The thing is, it'd be different if he was drafted to the Lakers or
yeah, but that's projection. No, it's not. You know what I mean? He has pop, and he doesn't cut from that, though.
With this team that he has,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, man. Really?
That's us.
Really?
that's us looking from a different vantage point. Like he's in it, like he's in the locker room with these guys. So, you know, he doesn't want to just come in and play Mr. Big Shot, although that's kind of like what he is and what he's expected to be.
And what we want.
So I understand what you're saying.
He gotta be that.
It's projection.
I think the difference when he played when he played school,
he gonna have to be that.
Not with a coach like that, and he plays different. It's not. It's not. It's not. It just can't be. I mean, it's someone you're gonna have it. He's not gonna give you 110 points. He's not gonna give you 80 points. And if he gives you 40 and 50 points, you're taking away from somewhere else that has to develop. A team has to win a game. So he has to find a way to do so. I'm telling you, if he gives you 35 and 17, yeah.
And I don't think he's comfortable doing that. Because I don't. He put up monster numbers when he was playing the G League team. It scooted him, but he was more comfortable because the teammates know, all right, this is your show. We're gonna look for you. It was his teammate. They've had a whole season under the belt. This is like the first game he's played with these guys. So I just think he's just really aware, self-aware. He didn't want to come off like that type of player. Although that's what everybody wanted.
Which says a lot, though, because people don't think he can do it.
Oh,
So we're on the lines of saying we're hoping that they allow him to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like we I can't say I know, but I'm 95% sure that he can average what we believe that he could be doing and unlock him and let him go crazy like Mo was thinking. So at least I think we share that sentiment. He's no Yinkadari.
Yeah, it's interesting because it is the Spurs. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see if he gets to like really put up crazy numbers that we think he's capable of in that system.
What are your guys' thoughts on Brandon Miller, who also played in that game?
Oh yeah, there are other people that play.
You mean when he wasn't just out there shooting by himself? There's other people out there. Now Brandon Miller looked good. He looked good. You know, like I said, the non-Wemby plays in the draft, to me, they're all very similar.
Not fair. It's not fair. It's not. They're good players. It's not fair.
And I think Brandon Miller's going to be a good player. Nothing he did surprised me for the better or the worse. This is what I expected. He's a 6'8" swing man, talented dude.
I saw Robert Horry. I don't know what you want to take from that. I saw Robert Horry's. He's the champion, but I saw Robert Horry. I saw him hit a three, which I said, all right, Bob could do. I saw him hit the other side of the backboard with no rim, and I said, which Bob could do. So,
and I was thinking Lamar
about Bob Horry because I feel like Bob Horry is an okay to average player. So I don't know what his ceiling is with Brandon Miller. I'm gonna give it Bob Horry without the championships.
Oof.
And his ceiling, where do you want to go? A taller Sprewell?
I would go.
I had Lamar Odom.
Wow, I'm surprised. I guess I'm higher on him than to me. He could be Paul George if everything goes right. He could be Paul George. Everything goes bad. Cam Reddish.
I don't see the Paul George.
Really?
I don't see the Cam Reddish.
Well, I hope not. I hope he doesn't. But
I don't see the Paul George.
I'm trying to figure
he's a 6'8" wing. He could handle it, shoot the three ball. That's to me, Paul George.
Is he a faster Millsap?
Millsap?
Was that an insult? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, my concern.
Millsap, Jay Crowder.
I worry about him under the bright lights, man. To be honest.
No, he's in the bright lights, Mo. He's in the bright lights. He's fine. Now we're talking talent. He's here now.
Oh man,
and he hasn't been going well in the bright lights.
Well, he's here. The tournament. He's here. No nerves, no nothing. I think he's fine. We're talking about just being good or bad.
I don't know if you guys are low on Brandon Miller or you just low on the players that you're naming.
I think our weight chart is a little different for you. I think James. All right, so Crowder is
he's a good player.
Okay.
But I think it might be a little disappointment if that's Brandon Miller's ceiling.
Okay.
Because I don't know. I don't know what I can't remember what Jay Crowder was picked, but I'm sure it wasn't 2.
No, I'm almost sure it wasn't 2.
Odom, I like Odom. Good player. I don't see the playmaking or the ball handling a bit. Like I don't see Lamar Odom either. And that's not even being as good. Or I'm just like the style of play. I see him more.
I see the ball handling of Odom, maybe not the playmaking like you said.
No,
of Odom.
No, I think Odom has better handle.
To me, he's more aggressive of like a scorer. Like I look at him like in that Paul George, Tatum, early Gordon Hayward, even like those type of like wing play.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is how that's how I see him.
No, why I can't see Paul George, because when I think of Paul George, I think of a two-way play.
The defense, you have a good point.
Yeah. I think of everything that you mentioned on the offensive side, plus the defense.
Okay.
And him being a pretty solid to good, very good on the ball defender. And I don't think Brandon Miller's close to that. So yeah, and even with the Robert Horry comparison, I hope he gets to that point, but I actually think it's the opposite in the sense when the lights get brighter, hey, he doesn't show up. Robert Horry shows up when the lights are really bright, and some would argue that Robert Horry only shows up when the lights are brightest. That, hey, you lose him during the regular season. You lose him during certain parts of the playoffs if y'all are making a good run. But hey, when the lights are brightest and the game is on the line, he's gonna be there.
Right,
and
so
he's gonna show up.
Let's go by your theory, Mo.
Let's
go by your theory, Mo. So when the lights aren't bright, who is he? Because now we're just talking about nerves. So let's just say when he gets out of nerves, when he wasn't nervous and he was doing what he was doing in Alabama, who was he when he was good?
Wow, that's a good question.
Because that's who we would think we have to compare him to if he had his best.
Maybe like a Rashard Lewis or somebody like that.
All right.
Athletic big that can shoot, has range.
That's not bad. Okay.
And I think that's fair. And I think people would be like, okay. You know what I mean? Like I don't think people say, yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Like if he goes out to be Rashard Lewis, like we're like, okay, cool. Like
I mean, that's not bad.
Were you guys able to catch any other players? I know Amin Thompson was playing as well. Right?
Yeah, he was actually impressive to me. He was impressive. Again, I feel like he could fit into that small forward, 6'8", can handle it, shoot it. The kind of like the modern day small forward. Like I think he'll be okay. I think he's a player. He'll be okay.
I think you have more people in a bunch now together that are just really good, that are looking to just jump out that group. Like you had the whole times of Vashawn Leonard and the Vashawn, Kobe, Vince, and everybody, and then people just jumped up and some just went lower. They were baked into the same type mold. I think you have some of those things now with the Thompson brothers. You have like Keontae George, Keegan Murray. You know what I'm saying? It's just a whole bunch of people grouped in as small forwards / power forwards looking to jump out. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with DeJounte Murray and all these people. It's just who's going to take that next step. I think you have really good talent. I just want to know who evolves and just says we want to take our step up like Shai did. Like Kobe left from the bunch. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a time people were saying Kobe was probably the 4th best 2 guard, which was crazy. You know what I'm saying? People like they want Ray Allen, they want Vince Carter, they want Kerry Kittles, Kobe didn't have enough time. And then when you jump out from that mold, because Keegan Murray looks really good. Keontae George looks really good. You know what I'm saying? Like, so who jumps out of that mold? One of the Thompson brothers hops out. You know what I'm saying? But you have good players coming up.
Hill, you mentioned Shai Gilgeous. I want to talk about one of his teammates, and one of the sophomores that we were able to see this weekend, if you're able to catch all the summer league games, Chet Holmgren. Did you guys get a chance to see him? What do you think about what they can do down there in OKC with him and Shea Gilchrist?
Hey, you want to say?
Yeah, I think yeah, he looked good. Like I said, he although of course, you know, he's 7'1", his body type is different, but I think he's just like the other players, like Hill was saying, like the jump out. He's not in that same mold physically, but I just think he's, you know, I wouldn't say he's better than Amen Thompson at this point. I think they're kind of on the same level where they looked impressive. They both look like they could be quality NBA players. Chet looks he looks like he could be a better defender than I thought. As far as being a rim protector. So yeah, I mean, OKC, the future's bright. They you know, they drafted well. This isn't new news. They have a really bright future.
It's opposite of what Houston's doing, right? Like I feel that Oklahoma City is, and hopefully Houston is trying to get out of and build a culture with Van Fleet and maybe Dylan Brooks with a culture of experience and youth putting it together. But Oklahoma City having Russell, you know, culturize some of these young kids and then leave, set up their higher office picks, because the team could have tons of picks, a la Utah Jazz, and then just stay stagnant. You know what I mean? I know Utah's trying to make some moves now, but what Oklahoma City has looks like to be a playoff team and an upset team in the making down the line, you know, for future teams. They have surprise talent on that team. And it's just drafting well and the whole culture thing, drafting well and developing players. I think Chet just fits right into, he can gradually get to where he has to get, and he's not dependent on to change the franchise. You know what I'm saying? That's Shea's, that's Giddey, and then he can come in to help out. He can just develop into. That can be one scary team. I think Chet should just go along with the role and just improve and get better and get stronger. But
it looks like
I got them as a pretty scary team, you know,
yeah.
next 5-6 years.
Yeah, I think they have the potential to be one of those gritty, hard out teams. And if Memphis is not careful on how they're setting their culture going forward and real precise with it, I think Oklahoma City is one of those teams that's more than willing to step up into that position that Memphis previously held before the issues with Ja Morant, where hey, they were consistently top 4 in the West, top 5. I think OKC is ready to jump back into that position, especially once they develop this young talent, to your point here. But I think they're only a year or two away from that, you know, being able to do that, barring injury, of course. Also wanted to talk about, when we talk about Chet Holmgren, sophomore player, want to talk about Jabari Smith, I believe, from Houston Rockets. Hit the game winner Friday night. You guys get to see him play during the summer league at all? Are you impressed with how he's developing it?
Well, honestly, it's Brandon Miller. You know what I mean? Like next year, this time, he, you know, to me, they're the same type player. He played, he hit the game when he had an excellent game. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not taking that from him, but as far as a player down the road, I think they're the same guy. I could be wrong. Like Hill said, there's always room, you know, separation. It's very early. They're like 18, 20 years old. You know what I mean? 5 years from now, we might say one of them was like all NBA first team. I don't know. But like right now, as I look at their skill set, they're the same guy. That's not a bad thing, but I just think they're the same guy.
I was on wax. You being gentle. So I'm the other way. I was on wax saying I had Jabari Roof being the kid from Texas. And
I heard that comparison. Yeah.
I had his Roof being the kid from Texas, and I had his floor being Walt Williams.
What is it?
So wherever that you have that.
Shout out to Walt Williams, man. I
Jabari,
remember Walt Williams back in the day too, man.
Wow.
yeah, listen, it depends on how you have them.
I'm just glad you brought up Walt Williams' name. I'm just like,
Yeah,
okay.
no, this is what we do. But Jabari has, I hate to put it out there. Of course, we say it all and it gets tiresome. Jabari has potential. And it's lazy, and I'm going to use it anyway. He has potential to be, I won't even say his name. That's why I say the kid from Texas-ish. If he puts it together. Because I thought he was special down there in Auburn. He didn't prove it in the tournament. And the first season, I think he's just on a bad cultural franchise, put it that way. I think he needs to get out of there, or they need to clean it up and get some players away from there.
No.
Thank you, Hill.
To your point, Hill, you were, high on him, and I remember like in the draft process and everything. And at one point they had him as the #1 pick. Like they had Apollo and Chet. So, and so we're seeing what you and other people, I guess, saw during that process.
He has to separate himself though, and I don't know if it's there. I just hope Ime is the guy.
See, the thing with is, I think it's a clash of skills. You know what I mean? Like Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., him.
They all need to go. And I'm a Jalen Green.
The same.
Where they need to go.
Yeah.
I think the difference with OKC, they got Chet, where he's more like a 7-footer. You could put him in you know what I mean? It's like you could switch it up a little. Sorry, Mo. Go ahead.
They have established roles for everybody and an established culture of how everything is supposed to go.
Yeah.
And Houston, at least recently, they haven't shown that they have that. Now, we hope that can change with the hiring of Ime Udoka, and like I think Hill was saying with the addition of Van Fleet, maybe you get some adults in the room and that want to promote a culture and help the young players figure out their roles and how to be stars in their roles.
You need to break them up. It is a preschool environment. And I think these players need to go to places in which coaches can get a hold of them and have them grow up and be the potential that they can be. I love the way that they play, but it doesn't equate to winning and good basketball. You know what I'm saying? So I would like Jalen Green to leave. I think a place where he would go would probably not be to his liking, would be somewhere as a young player would be the Knicks. I think Tibbs would put him in a place in which he have a young athletic kid who needs to be shaped and molded. That's not Tibbs' style. He's pretty much his way. But Jalen is not one like Porter to be, back and forth with it, to have Porter bench. Jalen seems like one that'll just be able to adjust and listen, but he has the athleticism, which I think would help the Knicks. Or he could be Gerald Wilkins. You know what I mean? So I think the players, that's on Ime in the front office to get some of those guys which are young, which they value. I think, check that. I think they overvalue, and get a team in there in which, Van Fleet can head and coach. Because I'm sure Porter's feeling like, why would you pay so much for this guy to come off the bench? And I think Porter needs to know that that's not going to be the case. You know what I'm saying? And I love Porter.
And I think Detroit's in the same situation.
Right.
In Orlando too.
Right.
Where you have, because you're perennially in the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
So you pretty much have like at least 5 top 10 picks on your team. I think they just have to really figure out like Bo was saying, like what direction are we going in?
Yeah, who do we want to be, and what pathway to success are we taking, and stick to it.
Because they're all overvalued. As much as I like them, they're all overvalued to that team.
Yeah, I think all Detroit, Houston, Orlando has young talent with potential. If that potential will ever be fulfilled within that culture, within that system, remains to be seen. But they do have talent.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, let us know what you guys think. Did you guys get a chance to see the Summer League? Hit us up on social media. Let us know. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that like button. Hit that notification button so you know when the next video is coming out. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. You can also hit us up directly at weneedafifth@gmail.com. Fellas, I hesitate to even bring this up, especially with our time crunch right now. But I wanted to bring it up a little bit. Former NBA player, ex-NBA player. He's playing for a Time Whitney's basketball league right now. Dwight Howard said that in his prime, he was better than Joker in his prime.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
Thoughts?
Well, his prime is going to be, what, 5 or 9 years? I mean, he played a while, but his prime is, what, a 5-year stretch?
I would say 5, yeah.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Sounds about right.
He was the premier defender during those 5 years, led his team to a finals, probably had maybe 2 or 3 rebounding.
Yeah, title, led the league a couple times. Yeah.
Couple times. All defensive player. Like I said, took his team he beat LeBron getting into these places. One of the few people I could say that in the East. And unfortunately, I feel like he was gypped out of top 75 because I could replace some people with him.
But is he better than Joker?
With that being said,
but is he better than Joker?
With that being said, the answer is an absolute no. And I've fought with you guys off air about this. I said there can be an argument, and there is an argument, and it's with him. With no one else, I think that this is an argument. I don't think this is a topic. This is something that to let people know that, hey, I am in Taiwan, and if you're not busy, I can come over and help a team. But no one's interested because no one cares. And I would say that Joker is a better player than Dwight Howard was in his 5-year prime, even though he did not play only 5 years. So, couple of that, I'm not a Dwight Howard fan, but I'm trying to be as fair as I possibly can. But this is a man who was I always considered a power forward for one. I never saw him as a center. I never understood that. Let's start there. The second thing is someone who you give the ball on the block to who never thought about it. At Shaq at 7'1" center, you never, again, this is a debate between a power forward and a center. We never have to forget that. But as Shaq as a power forward never had to be concerned about what move that he would do on the block. You know what I mean? What you did have to worry about is what happens once you gave the ball to Dwight Howard on a block, and the answer was nothing. Nothing happened because he never tried to develop his offensive skill. And if you look at the difference in defense, sure, it brings the comparison closer because he was such a dominant player. But offensively, Dwight Howard was nothing that you feared. You know what I mean? I don't know what plays you actually ran for him in a half-court set. So my vote would easily be Joker. And this is a point of discussion only because Dwight Howard brought it up, but I don't think anyone thought about this. I think we thought he might have got snubbed from 75, and that was it. I think that's where you close the book on Dwight Howard.
P, where you at?
Yeah, I agree with Hill. He prefaced it pretty well until he went into the power forward thing. It kind of started to get a little ugly. I agree with him on it, but yeah. Dwight Howard was a really good player. An excellent defensive player. You can't take that from. Excellent defender. Possibly, if he had won a championship, then I feel like this would be a good debate. But he didn't. So it's not. You know what I mean? Like Joker is clearly, in my mind, a top 10 center of all time. I don't think Dwight Howard is.
So I guess, we want to get your point more. So what we're talking about is that because you severely overlook it, I guess you're taking the fact that he didn't win the title. He was just that kid who possibly got his belt stuck on the end of the bus and was dragged by the bus when the Lakers won the championship.
To be fair, I do forget that he does have a championship ring. Good catch, though. Good catch. But the comparison to me is that Joker led his team to a championship.
No question.
Dwight Howard played a important role, but a role for his ring. So to me, that's the difference. Like, I know people want to say, just championship, but if you put them on the scale, all rings don't weigh the same. Like Joker's ring is heavier than Dwight Howard's ring. It just
is. And one of the things that works against Dwight Howard with him winning a championship with the Lakers is that he was such a vital piece to that team that they didn't invite him back the following year.
I mean, to be fair, he was the reason why, besides Joker evolving into a better player, he was the reason why they were able to get by them, because Jamal Murray was getting everything he wanted on the Lakers, and then he got hurt. But Dwight Howard did an excellent job on Joker.
No, I agree. I thought the Lakers made a mistake by not bringing him and Bill McGee back. I thought that was the reason that's the advantage they had. I mean, of course, you had AD and LeBron, but besides AD and LeBron, they could pretty much just overpower everybody on the boards. That's really what helped them win a championship. So I thought it was a mistake not bringing them back, actually.
Okay. All right. Hey, hit us up on social media. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think Dwight Howard has been better than Joker in his prime than Dwight was in his prime? It sounds ridiculous.
Mo never answered the question on the low. Mo never answered the question.
Yeah, he didn't.
Oh, he's definitely not. I thought that was obvious. I thought this is a dumb question. Like, hey, and I thought you guys are being real nice, but that's neither here nor there. If you got, hit us up on social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or hit us up directly at weneedafifth@gmail.com. Fellas, one of the parts of the show that I was interested in getting to, entertainment portion. We're introducing a new series. It's coming up soon. It might be next show. It's definitely before the summer ends out. It's going to be our Flawless album series, where we're talking about those albums that have given us flawless victories. And what we mean by flawless victory, people, is that you're putting in the album, you're putting in the tape or the CD, and you're starting from the beginning of the album, and you're not skipping a song, and you're letting it rock out or play out to the final song of the album, and you're completely satisfied with it. Classic albums in this case will be those albums where you start at the beginning and you might skip one, maximum two songs, but you still enjoy the entire album. A great album is going to be those albums that, hey, you start at the beginning and you're definitely skipping more than two, but the rest of the album is so powerful that, hey, it's still a great album. And then after that, I don't think we need to talk about those other albums that are just good.
No one cares about good albums, correct.
The demographics is going to be crazy because albums, CDs, records, for the people who are not 100, streaming, I guess.
yeah. Hey, listen, they still come out in album format.
I don't even know what you call it anymore. I don't even know what a mixtape. I don't know what it's called anymore.
And we're going to be talking about different genres of music, hip hop, R&B, rock, all that, reggae, and every different type of music that we could think of that have flawless albums.
I guess thank God I get my orange juice from California, because might be making some people in Florida a little bit upset that I might not have to visit down there.
Oh no, you won't. You won't.
And thank God New York. Thank God New York makes good barbecue. I have to go to that other corner either. So a lot of places going to be a little upset with me here when they went for about Flawless Album's music. And listen, I didn't tell you to get into the music. I just tell you what I like. No one tell you to be where you from. No offense.
It's quite possible. All I need is a Metro card. Quite possible. It's quite possible.
Guys, a heads up. Put your request in, people, because we do want to know. There's some things we probably forgot. I doubt it, but there's a good chance that we forgot a few that you might want to throw at us. Yeah, that's what I'm on. We are over the age. Trust me, we are over the age. I want to tell you our ages, but we are getting up there.
Yeah, and hit us up and let us know what albums you think we should be considering.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I know me for one of the albums I'm putting up for consideration for Flawless album is Life After Death by the Notorious B.I.G. or Biggie Smalls, as we would call him in New York. So hey, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Don't forget to hit that like button, notification button on YouTube. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, and hit us up directly at weneedafifth@gmail.com. Fellas, what's on your radar before we get out of here?
I want to send a melancholy shout out to Nikki McCrae. She passed away, I believe, July 7th. Just, one of the architects of women basketball, as women basketball as we see it now. Candace Parker, Aja Wilson, Breonna Stewart. That basically, stand on her shoulders. She's one of the architects of the WNBA, just female basketball. I mean, she really pushed the game forward along with names like Dawn Staley, Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo, Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, many others. So just, a rest in peace to her, a legend in the women's basketball game.
Good catch, Pete.
Very good catch.
Want to shout out Megan Rapinoe. Just announced that she's going to be retiring. This will be her last World Cup coming up soon. So, hey.
Another good catch. Gave us great memories for soccer too. So, for me is that show. I'm just eager to see what the fans of this show and just loyalists to music, how we feel, how far close we are, how far off we are when it terms classic and Flawless albums. So I'm eager, put it that way.
I got some I'm ready for y'all, fellas. I got some joints for y'all.
Let's be careful.
Yeah,
come on, man. Flawless. I'm gonna uplift the quality of entertainment in the room.
It's not that many as you think, bro.
Man, let's just thank God a lot of these places are known for their cuisines.
Wow.
As opposed to their contributions to the music scene. Let's put it that way. Beautiful country we live.
Hey, that's for the next show, fellas. It's been real. To all our fifths out there, stay safe. See you next time.
Wemby, new age Wilt.
Yeah, if they allow him to be.
The comment section should be entertaining.
I mean, if they allow him to be.
If Wemby played with those guys back then in 1950, 1960, probably averaged 80 and 40. No way. Wilt today, I'll leave that alone. But if you put Wemby back there, I think his numbers would be better than Wilt's. Put it that way. I don't want to do that, so right, I like Wilt.
It's 201, Hill. You got to go, yo.
I like Wilt. Wemby's coming for people's heads now.
You got to go, yo. 201, yo. You got to go, yo.
On that note, peace.
2-1.